You are listening to the Good Girl Podcast. I am Cameo King, your host. Just a heads up, you are listening to part 2 of a 2-part series, how you played a role in your own suffering. If you didn't catch part 1, just go back just one. They were released the same day, and listen to part 1. And that was myself and that was Reka. We were sharing our own set of confessions about how we played a role in our own suffering. Just a quick summary. It was about being loyal to people, places, institutions. I said Black church, and systems who have been disloyal to you. Listen to the whole thing. I ain't coming for the church like that. Listen to the whole thing. And Reka shared about her fear of settling and her fear of passing up a good thing. So make sure you catch part 1 if you haven't. And now here's part 2.
And so there's a couple things I want to say here. And so with the lens of self-denial in relationships, I'm going to say a tangible example because I just had this happen. So talking to a dude, he said, I'm going to call you back at 7. He never called me back until the next morning. And old Reka would have let that go, even though I have feelings about it. But I would have tried to, be in self-denial, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. But no, it is. We were talking off air about how I'm a time person. If you say you're going to do this, do it person. I know that about myself. I'm so self-aware now that the next morning I brought it up. And he was like, oh, my bad. So this is what happened, whatever. And ever since then, if he says he's going to call me back, he calls me back. Old Reka would have swallowed it, not saying anything. I don't want him to get, I'm afraid I'll lose him if I speak up for myself. And all of these things that we say, trying again to make this man pick me. Instead of setting a boundary, if you say you're going to do something for me or 2 or what time, do it. And if something changes, you're allowed to say, oh, my bad. I thought it was going to be 7, but I'm still in this meeting. And so now it's going to be 8. That's fine. But it's the just ignoring the fact that you said you were going to call me at 7. You know what I mean? And so the self-denial again would have said, it's not that big of a deal, Reka. Just leave it alone.
I just want to, that was the perfect example. That was because that was old Cameo, right? Just either I'm not going to say nothing or I'm just going to swallow this. And it's just going to be.
Yeah. Because society tells us women are so emotional, right? Oh my God, you're so emotional. And so we just hide from our emotions. And then 2 weeks or 2 months, 2 years down the line, we are bottled up with anger. And it literally started with the simple fact that you could not speak up for yourself.
Listen, I got a question. Now I got a question off air because I don't know if I should have spoke up or not. I let it go. But so mind you, I let it go, but I am not in contact with this person anymore.
Okay.
And my thought process is well, if they want to remain in contact, when they contact me again, if they contact me again, I was like, hey, this is what happened last time. But anyway, I don't want to be 5 years out.
I feel like I know who this is. Okay, so we'll talk.
I don't want to be 5 years down the line and be like, but you never did this. And he'd be like,
yep. Yeah. And then that's right. I just don't want to be that person who bottles it up,
Yeah.
And maybe because you're, I don't know, in a public setting or at church or something. So you're like, let me just wait till I get home. I think there's time and place, but he still needs to know immediately, like ASAP. I think we just need to be better communicators. We grown, right?
Yeah.
We always be like, I want a man who's emotionally intelligent. Okay, but are you? Yeah.
I listen. I probably still need some work on it because it's still at the top of my mind. So
and listen, again, we are not talking about perfection. Mm-mm. I just think that a lot of us have blind spots that we are not, that nobody talks about. So this is why we're here, right? We're talking about it. Hopefully you listening are like, oh my God, I do that. And then ask yourself, am I participating in my own suffering? Because how is he going to know how to treat me if I don't tell him how to treat me?
And I know you say blind. I think it's blind spots, and I think it's not realizing. And maybe I'm just this is semantics, but not realizing how much that small behavior really connects to a greater purpose.
Yes.
Or a different version of you.
Yes. You don't realize how much it adds up.
Yes.
It adds up. So you didn't tell him how you felt 10 times over. Now you're mad.
Yep. Now you're mad. So, okay. So go ahead to your number 2.
let's go here, because this one was good and it's still in the lane of relationships, but
Okay.
I feel like you and I are dealing with this in real time right now, right? Real time. It is our fear of settling versus the fear of passing up a good man. So the mental gymnastics that I am doing at 39 years old, when this guy's approaching me, this guy's approaching me, this guy's approaching me, the fear that I have in making the wrong choice, whether it's the wrong choice and now I'm in another dysfunctional relationship, or whether it's the wrong choice and I let a good thing pass me up. Those mental gymnastics is getting on my last nerve. I'd be like, oh my God, he didn't open the door for me. What does that mean? You know, and I'm participating in my own suffering because I am not living in the present moment. And I feel like because I'm this, person on a podcast and I've been certified and I feel like I've made, I hope the worst mistakes I've ever made in dating, I hope that's over, that this fear of like making the wrong choice and then y'all seeing it. I don't want to be embarrassed again. I don't want to do that.
I think in this space for me, that used to drive me insane. I hated dating guys and not being able to stay in the moment, like not being able to just enjoy you. I almost preferred to date guys and entertain guys that I wasn't attracted to or I didn't think had potential because I could relax be myself because I didn't care.
Yes.
Because when I did have some type of attraction to you, or when you did show some type of potential, like you hit a couple of, I saw that you were authentic. I saw that you were honest or whatever it is, or I was really attracted to you. I get kind of wound up because I'm like, oh, is he the one? Maybe he the one.
I know. Oh.
And then you begin to kind of catalog his behavior versus, and this is why I value too, let's be friends first, right? Because I just get to experience you and you get to experience me. And then we can decide if we are a good or a better experience together than we are individually. But I will say one thing that has freed me when we talk about suffering. So what's on the other side of suffering is that I just believe that no matter what I do or say or show up, that the person that is for me is for me, that he is not going to care. Like, I can walk into some place looking like Boo Boo the Fool, but it's going to be something in him. He may be like, gosh, she look kind of weird, but I guess, like you told me she was going to be fine. Like, she just having a bad day, brother.
She just running errands. It's fine.
Right. And that has been something that has freed me and has allowed me to very much just exist as myself and try not to count up the costs and do this mental gymnastics of what if I have to make sure I'm doing this, and because I know how I want to show up.
Yeah.
But I also know that because I've just seen too much. What I am coming to know about marriages and about relationships is a lot of the stuff that we think that matters, it doesn't matter. And so that's why I just don't care as much. That's just what I'm seeing. A lot of the stuff that we think that matters, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because after you wake up to me 365 days times 5, you're going to get to know me on a deep. It's not going to be my looks that keep you. Yes, you can think I'm fine. Yes, when I walk past you, you're going to be like, ooh, her booty, or whatever it is. Yeah. But it's going to be things like trust, intimacy. Can I handle the rawest version of you? Can I handle it with care?
Yeah.
Can you handle me with care? Yeah. Right? Am I growing into how well do I know you where I can love you properly? Those things have become more of a priority than the other things that I know that are true and are a part of my things I can't get rid of. That's just who I am. Yeah. And so that has helped me.
So, and also I think what helps me with the mental gymnastics, because I go through that and I'm getting better. So there's duality happening in me.
Yeah.
Another thing, something that grounds me and that helps me is whatever choice you make, Reka, there is going to be trials and tribulations. There is no promise on this earth that you're going to be coasting through life because you a follower of Jesus. Trust yourself enough to know that you just going to get through it.
That's hard.
Get through it. And so it's like, yeah, that sucks, but I'm not going to die because you cheated. And even if I did, at least I'm going to heaven.
Reka.
Just why is there so much like pain and suffering if a relationship doesn't work out? And I'm not saying that I'm not going to be sad. Of course, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is he breaks up with me, he leaves me after 10 years or whatever. Okay, I'll bounce back in 2 or a year. Like I'm going to get through it because I have God by my side. I have my family and friends. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm cultivating family and friends to make sure that I do have my my village when some ish hits the fan. Because guess what? Ish is going to hit the fan. I can make the right choice. He a good man. He gets cancer and dies in 5 years. Knock on wood. Lord, honestly, I don't want none of that. But you know what I mean? Like
I do. And so, just trying to bring this back. We talked about, I knew we were going to go in a different direction.
I know. And I know you have one more point too, right? I think.
But like self-denial, but this is us also participating in our own suffering when we're making these decisions. And you didn't necessarily say this, but the importance of building your village and your community and not making your identity be about a marriage or about a spouse. It's because they literally cannot be your all and your everything because they are human. Yeah. And so if something doesn't go right, if something fails, it doesn't mean the person has to die. It doesn't mean that the marriage has to end, but they are not meant to be your all. And so when you have that expectation of them, that is also, I think, participating in your own suffering.
Yep. Jesus is asking to be your all and everything. He didn't tell you to ask a man to be that. He didn't tell you to ask a friend to be that. He didn't tell you to ask your pastor to be that, your mom and dad.
If I'm honest, this is a conversation. There are some things that Jesus can't even do. And I don't want to be too raw.
Say it, Cameo. Say it.
I'm gonna keep like, Jesus can't slap me on my booty. You know what I'm saying? Among other things. But
facts.
Somebody had posted something on, oh gosh, it was hilarious. Something on Facebook and was like, you got to learn how to love yourself and all this other stuff. I said, I can't slap my own self on my booty. What do you mean?
No, the rose doesn't even do that. So, I mean, I get it. I get it. There are some carnal human things that we do want for sure. And we do have that desire and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But making them an idol.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Participating in your own suffering.
But let's be clear, I do want that slap. So
we go, the Saints, they good, they got you.
Let me move on before some dude think this is his free reign to tap in. No, brother, don't.
We're gonna slap your DM talking about I can slap you on your booty. My hand has 5 fingers. Look.
I got 5 whole fingers.
Right. Hand is big, So
let me go to the other one. Participating in your own suffering. And so this is the last one I want to talk about, Reka. I know you have one too, but it's the idea of waiting on anything to be right before you move.
Yeah.
Waiting on anything to be right.
Yeah. And we can end on this because you and I are in the same spot. Go ahead.
And we tell ourselves in so many spaces that I'm going to wait until fill in the blank. I'm going to wait until I have enough followers. I'm going to wait until I'm this old. I'm going to wait until I get this position. I'm going to wait, whatever it is, till I make this career move. I'm going to wait. No, that's you participate, because typically the thing you desire is something that you believe will give you access to more joy or more peace or more something. Because that's really what we're chasing in life. We're not really chasing these things. We're chasing peace.
Peace, 100%.
We're chasing peace, right? And we think money will bring us more peace. Because in some places as well, if I got $500,000 sitting in the bank, I am not tripping on my job. I'm not tripping on where I'm moving to next. I'm not tripping on if my man is making six figures. I got $5K sitting in the bank and I'm still bringing in money. That's peace.
Yeah.
That's peace. But what we do is we put these qualifiers before, because we believe we need those things to access peace. We need those things to access joy. Mm-hmm. When we put those qualifiers there, we're participating in our own suffering because we're saying that we can't get those things. And I'm a firm believer, because I am a believer, that God wouldn't create something tangible that I couldn't necessarily access in order to get something that God has access to. Peace and joy. Like when I say that's what we're chasing, that's what we're chasing. So I can't, and I don't want to have this conversation, like this high level conversation, like I'm ignorant of what money can do. I think about, though, the conversations, again, that some of us have, and we are putting these qualifiers before things. Like, when I get my spouse, then I'm really going to travel. When I get my spouse, then I'm going to purchase a home. That was Cameo.
Yeah.
That is us actively denying ourselves some things that will bring us peace and joy.
This is a thought that's coming to mind, is I do feel like in that space of wanting to move out of Washington State, mm-hmm. I have not done it. You know, I've been here for 9 years. I think the last 4 years, it's been a strong, like, you got to get out of here, Reka. Like, what are you doing? Right. Mm-hmm. And I have been here, and I do believe that I'm participating in my own suffering in this instance. However, I think the suffering is going to be worth it, because I wanted to make sure that I was set up in a way so that I can move and then not be able to struggle. Because then I felt that moving first and struggling would also be participating in my own suffering. So I'm like, what suffering did I want at that moment in that season? Again, I am a Christian who believes, listen, count it all joy when you go through trials and tribulations. Life is never going to be perfect. So I chose the staying in Washington State until for my suffering, because guess what, baby? When I moved to Arizona and I got the job that I wanted, it would have been worth it, right? Because I know even when I move, there's going to be something that I don't like within 3 months that I get there. Mm-hmm. And so I have been working on having that peace that surpasses all understanding here in a place where I know I'm not happy.
And I'm going to challenge you from a place that I'm in right now, right? Yeah. When I say, like, I have the desire to move. And the same thing. And I'm not saying this is you, but this is me, right? And it may challenge you, it may or may not challenge you, because I think there is wisdom. There is wisdom in waiting. There's wisdom in preparing. And so my thought process too was like, let me prepare. This is a revelation I just got. I was going to share it on TikTok. Woo! Well, I'm not saying God told me up, but
go Cameo. Okay, yeah.
It hit my soul, Reka. God essentially told me that, Cameo, your preparation is a veil for fear. Because you don't believe, or lack of trust, you don't believe that I'm going to provide for you when you go to the next place.
Yeah.
So you're rushing, trying to save, trying to buy. And you don't think that I'm going to provide for you. And that's why you're in a tizzy. That's why you're frustrated. That's why you're not resting in my peace and my sovereignty. And but mind you, this is me. I'm not putting that on you, Reka. I'm just saying for me, because there may be other people out there. Like I said, I was going to share this on TikTok. Is that I was busy just trying to do so much. Yeah. Like trying to buy a house, girl. How long are you going to be? Like just trying to do so much to set myself up for success. I'll call it in a foreign land. You know what I'm saying? Because that land, the word on the street is it ain't cheap. And so I don't want to be out there broke. Kind of what you said.
Yeah.
And so for me, God said, Cameo, you think preparing, you think you're preparing, and I believe in preparation, but you're preparing from the wrong you're preparing from a place of fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really did calm me down and slow me down and said, Cameo, chill the F out. Like, calm down.
Yeah. So for me, and yes, that see, this is why we all have to have our own relationship with God, right? Because the way he's speaking to Cameo doesn't necessarily have to be the same way that God is speaking to me. I think fear is always a factor in a lot of our decisions. And God said, I don't give you a spirit of fear. So I do think we have to manage that. For me, I think God was working on my patience.
Mm.
And I'll have to tell you off air, but I believe that a situation is about to happen, and I'll tell you what it is. Like I said, off air, that is going to move me rapidly,
Mm.
and it's going to be like these 9 years didn't even exist. And
Mm-hmm.
God is like, "Do you trust me to provide that for you? I got you. I got you." So I think that as I look back, I think God was working on my patience, because honestly, one of the top reasons why I wanted to move is so I could date. You know what I mean? And God is like, don't worry about that right now.
Participating in your own suffering. Let me say this. So Reka, I am glad that we have different lessons that
Mhm.
God is teaching us when we are in similar seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope this also shines a light that oftentimes we say messages that we think are for everybody. No, that message is just for you.
God is not a one size fits all in that category. Does he love all of us? One size fits all? Absolutely. But I don't think he talks to us the same way. I look at the stories in the Bible. He didn't talk to Moses, the woman at the well, to this and that person the same way. He didn't. It was different every time.
I said what I said because we can access joy, we can access peace, we can access these things right where we are.
Right where
There
we
was
are.
another meme that said, change starts from within. It doesn't start with moving to Atlanta. And that was funny. And I thought that was funny because essentially that's what I'm saying. These things that we desire don't necessarily start with moving to a different location. At
Right.
the same time, I don't want to discount the fact that what a new environment of people, opportunities,
Yep.
who affirm you, who are like you, access. Just thinking about certain seeds and plants grow really well in certain environments, and some don't grow at all.
Yep.
And so
Life
I
is
don't.
way more nuanced than we think it is. Way
Yeah,
more. Not
yeah,
black.
right. So I don't want to discount that, but I also don't want us to suffer while we are in whatever season that we are in. One of my prayers have been, God, show me my perspective in this season. What do I need to be learning? What do I need to be seeing while I'm in this season? And that's also when we are in places that makes us uncomfortable, or we think we should have something that we don't have, ask God, what should I be seeing right now? What should I be doing right now? And I think that does give us access to not suffer, is what I'm going to say. So, closing thoughts, Reka?
I would just go back to what I just said. Life, I think, and we've said this before, like, we think life is so black and white, and we're just looking for that one podcast, that one piece of advice that's going to change our whole life, and then everything's going to be perfect. Da, 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 da. When again, I am a Christian who doesn't believe life is perfect. It's never going to be perfect. So no matter the choice that you make, say it with your chest. Make sure it aligns with your values and write it out. It's more nuance to this life thing in every lane: job, relationships, self, blah blah blah, self-care. More nuance than we think.
Yeah.
The Bible says we're not against flesh and blood.
Yeah.
So there's a level we ain't even know yet, tapping in yet, don't understand. We will not understand everything. And so yeah, that is my closing remarks.
No, it's good. We can end it there. So, Reka, I thank you as always. I think our conversations are always enlightening, and I think we're able to talk differently because we know each other on a different level, and I think because we desire very similar things. And I feel like we in the same season. So
every time we talk, I'm like, Lord, me and Cameo. Listen, and I feel like we need to record another podcast when we go see Usher, because we're gonna be in Vegas together.
There goes my baby.
We're gonna go on stage, y'all. We're gonna try.
We gonna try. I just want Usher to laugh, that genuine laugh. That's all, listen. That's all I need. That genuine. That's how you get them. Anyway. Usher, I'm coming for you, Bill.
So you're saying there's a chance? Is that what I'm seeing?
I feel like there is. With God, all things are possible. If this aligns with my destiny, I am not gonna participate in my own suffering, thinking I can't get access.
Okay, I heard that. Listen.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Reka. I appreciate you coming on the Good Girl Podcast.
Of course.
All right. You are listening to the Good Girl Podcast.